Remember this. This male-female relationship is the most basic relationship in the world. And if we get that wrong, then everything else is wrong. So this is really important. Understanding this, at that level, that this is the most basic. You can't have any other relationships if that relationship does not exist. So it is very important to us as Muslims, especially as brothers here, that we understand what and how it is that we see women. And it's also very important that our sisters have a correct understanding of how they see brothers and how they see men. Simply, if we have this right, then we can make wiser decisions later on. But nowadays, subhanAllah, what we see is that, they say that there are three types of, at that level, the male-female relationship there are three types of connections. The number one connection is what we call the flesh connection. And that is people coming to an understanding to misuse and abuse each other's bodies. Oh, we connected last night. We hooked up last night. And what does that mean? Just had, whatever it is. Hit it and quit it, right? Okay. So now what happens is that this is what people have in mind. Subhanallah. When I first came to the States, subhanAllah, I did not speak much English. I only knew 2 words of English. Good, good, very good. And what happened is I would go and I would see these people like lunchtime, and they would be kissing and making out. And remember, I've never seen stuff like that before. So I would walk up to them and say, "Oh, when are you getting married?" And people look at me and say, "Who said anything about marriage?" And I would say, "Well, you seem to be going at it, or what's up with that?" And what they would say is, "Oh, we like each other for right now." Subhanallah, wallahi, it did not make sense to me back then, and it does not make sense to me now. Why would you be making an emotional investment with somebody knowing that it's going nowhere? Wallahi, why would you? Why would you give of yourself so much knowing that this is going nowhere? And once it is based on that, then you don't care for the well-being of the person, you don't care for the happiness of the person, you don't care for the growth or the development of the person, because you're getting what you want from that person, and that is the end of it. And if you are in that lifestyle, that is a sick lifestyle, you will never be able to truly develop a truly loving, intimate, caring relationship. Because we have been so used to seeing people like an orange where you take, squeeze, and then throw away. We don't see the goodness in them, but we see the usefulness in them. And the minute we go there, it means that we have messed up that male-female relationship at its core, at its very base, and as a result, we cannot truly have any more relationships that are meaningful. Where the person is not really interested in your inner beauty, they're only interested in your outer beauty. And that is very, very dispensable. So what we want is, we want to consider people not because of that irrelevant stuff that Yasmin talked about earlier, but rather it is the inner beauty that really brings meaningful to relationships. So the Quran would teach that women are not different than men in anything. SubhanAllah, the Quran sometimes would go and make that distinction. إِنِّي لَا أُضِيعُ عَمَلَ عَامِلٍ مِّنكُم مِّن ذَكَرٍ أَوْ أُنثَى. Said that no deed that was performed by the believers, be they females or males, will go to waste or will go into vain. Allah does not have different expectations from men and women. We are equally responsible. And subhanallah, there is this idea of zawj in the Quran, which means pair. But to truly have a pair, they must be equal. That's where the idea of zawj comes from. The Quran does not make a distinction as far as what it is that we were created from, the expectations or the reward. This idea of equality at the very basic is really made so that we can set our relationship therefore, or on the basis of that male-female relationship. So we don't want to be objectifying or commodifying. And believe me, Muslims are capable of doing so. We just do it differently. We just do it differently. So what we want to do is step out of this self-righteousness mode And we want to be engaged with reality. Also, this is the alarm it's telling me at the time, and I don't know how to turn it off. Okay. So anyways, yeah. So this is what we're looking for in our community. You know, there is no respect for, you know, this idea of being a playboy or a playgirl. None of that stuff. What we ought to really be looking for, interested in, not really the ideas that are given and sold to us by TV or by the stars, but rather ideas, principles, and guidance that are given to us by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam.